Hello Sharks, hope you're having a fantastic day. I'm here with another episode of Weekly Poker Hand. Are you tired of these Hellmuth versus Negreanu hands? Well, don't worry, their match has come to an end. We'll be wrapping up these very soon. Phil Hellmuth won, he was victorious. 3 in a row, he beat down Negreanu. And 3 in a row, he beat Antonio Esfandiari. And he's won basically every other match. He is officially the best heads-up, no-limit hold'em player in the world. If you agree, let me know in the comments section. If you think he's the best player in the world, click the like button, click the subscribe button. If you think he's the worst player, click the like and subscribe button too. Let's get right to this fun hand. Here, Phil Hellmuth, Zoom Speed Master himself, limps from the small blind, slash button, playing heads up, 30 big blinds deep. What do you do with the ace-6 offsuit? Well, some people raise it every single time. And you know what? That would be a mistake. You want to make sure that you are checking sometimes with some aces. Some good aces that are, well, some aces that are good to check with are your weaker ones. Because if you raise with the ace here and get re-raised, as Phil Hellmuth will do every once in a while playing 30 big blinds deep, you have to fold the ace-6. And you don't really want to be limping and then folding the ace-6. So this is a spot where checking is quite nice. If that is a new concept to you, make sure you check out my fundamentals quiz at pokercoaching.com/fundamentals quiz. We'll put a link below. Go there and make sure that you are not messing up common spots that, well, many people mess up on a very regular basis. What's Negreanu do? He's playing well. He checks. Hybrid poker, showing its prowess. Flop comes Jack, 8, 2 diamonds, 1 heart. Negreanu has nothing. He checks. Phil Hellmuth bets 3,000, 1 big blind. Some people who play way too tight take their cards and put them in the muck because they're like, ace high, what you gonna do? But this is a spot where if you're folding ace high, you're folding way too often. You cannot fold to little bits of aggression. Down Negreanu opts to call. I like it. Turns to 6 of diamonds. Jack, 8, 6, 3 diamonds. Negreanu has ace of clubs, 6 of hearts, 4 bottom pair. He checks, of course. Phil Hellmuth checks. Fine and good. River is the 5 of diamonds. 4 diamonds on the board. Makes this ace-6 substantially worse. Should Negreanu turn into a bluff? No, because no diamond's going to fold, no jack's going to fold, and an 8 may not even fold. So easy spot to check. And then Phil Hellmuth bets 6,000 chips, half pot. How do you feel about this spot? We're sitting here with a bad pair, a good kicker, but staring at these 4 diamonds. In this scenario, if you were down Negreanu, what do you do against Phil Hellmuth, the heads-up master? Do you fold, thinking, well, there's a lot of diamonds available, and he's not betting too big. It looks like he's trying to get us to call. Do you call for the exact opposite reason? Hellmuth is trying to level us. Or do we decide to put in a bluff? And if we bluff, how much do you want to make it? Take a second, think about what you do, and then commit to an answer. Pause the video and write it in the comment section below. All right, going through this active learning process of really thinking about what you would do in this spot is going to go a long way to helping you improve your poker skills. This is a spot where I think a lot of people nonchalantly fold. They don't even worry about it. Like, yeah, a bunch of diamonds, what can you do? He got there, I don't have anything, I fold. But I think that would be a big mistake. You may say, Phil Hellmuth bet 6,000. He's into the 12,000 pot. He's clearly trying to get called. Do you really think that you know how Phil Hellmuth is going to play in scenarios like this, or any scenario? I feel like I'm a pretty good poker player. I don't know what Phil Hellmuth's going to do. He mixes it up. Sometimes he has the nuts, sometimes he has a bluff, sometimes he's going to surprise us with a weird jack or an 8. But this is a spot where I don't really know what Phil Hellmuth's doing. So the question then becomes, are we good 25% of the time or more? Well, will Phil Hellmuth take hands without a diamond and bluff them? What do you think? Is Phil Hellmuth the super nit or the zoom zoom master? I don't know. He mixes it up. So, are there a lot of potential bluffs available? Well, I mean, any 2 cards without a diamond seem to be pretty good hands to bluff, especially if they lack showdown value. And notice that Hellmuth could easily have a hand like Queen 10, Queen 9, King High, right? All the King Highs are available. He could have random like 10-3 suited, 10-3 of clubs for all I know. So there are a lot of potential bluffs available, right? The question is, will he use those as a bluff? I don't know again. In spots like this, though, I do know that against most people who play well, your ace-6 is going to be good more than 25% of the time. You may say, what? What? It's also nice that in this scenario, Hellmuth probably isn't going to bet with an 8, which is good because that's a thin value bet that could beat us. He's also not going to bet with pocket 10s if he has it, although he probably raised that pre-flop. He's probably not going to bet with a jack, although he may. I don't actually think betting with a jack is all that terrible, but a lot of people check in that scenario. And he may not even bet with a weak flush. Say Hellmuth's sitting here with something like the 7 of diamonds. Will he value bet the 7 of diamonds? A lot of people don't. So if he's not value betting a jack or a weak diamond, then he's only value betting the best diamonds, right? Maybe a queen or better. Turns out there aren't actually a lot of queen or better of diamonds in Hellmuth's range because Hellmuth raises a lot of the hands containing an ace preflop and a lot of the hands containing a king preflop, right? So going through this thought process, you realize there are actually a lot of pretty bad hands in Hellmuth's range that he could potentially bluff with. The question is, will he potentially bluff them? And the answer is yes. If Hellmuth's sitting here with like 10 high, he's probably going to go for a bluff. So I think this is actually a pretty easy call. You may say, should we ever bluff raise? Funny enough, if we know that Hellmuth doesn't have a whole lot of ace of diamonds and a whole lot of king of diamonds, I actually don't hate a bluff raise. A bluff raise becomes way better as Hellmuth is going to value bet thinner and thinner. Like if Hellmuth's going to value bet an 8, let's say, or a 2 of diamonds, then I actually think a bluff raise starts to become pretty sweet because there are a bunch of hands in his then value betting range that you could make fold. But in most scenarios, against most people, probably including Hellmuth, I think he's mostly going to be betting with like 9 of diamonds or higher. And you probably don't want to be trying to get your opponent to fold out a reasonably good flush. So this is a spot where you should call. Did you call? Did you write call? If you did not write call, make sure you go and take the fundamentals quiz because you may be messing up other spots that come up decently often. Negreanu does call and ooh, zoom, zoom, zoom. Old man speeding. Did you know that Phil Hellmuth actually would bluff the queen 4 of clubs here? A lot of people think it's impossible. In this scenario, if I had the queen 4 of clubs, what would I have done? Would have limped or raised pre-flop? Sure. Would have bet the flop? Sure. Check the turn? Sure. On the river, I don't hate the bet. Queen high basically never wins. Seems reasonable, right? If I was in this scenario, I think I would be betting a little bit bigger though. Pot's 12,000. You have to ask, what am I trying to get to fold? Well, you're not trying to get a flush to fold. You're trying to get a non-flush to fold. And I think if you bet more like 12,000, you polarize your range a little bit more. And while it is actually kind of a tough spot because you don't have a lot of ace of diamonds or king of diamonds, you still have queen that's almost always good, 10 that's almost always good, 9 that's almost always good that can opt to go for a value bet. And I think you can even go for like a 9,000 or 12,000 value bet in this scenario. Given the pot is quite small, it's only 4 big blinds, right? I know this is not a big pot. It's not like any sort of an extravagant pot, but these small pots where you're sort of jockeying back and forth come up on a very, very regular basis. And if you mess these spots up, you're going to be leaving a lot of money on the table because even though it's not a big pot, it happens very, very frequently. And if you mess up these, well, fundamental spots, it's not going to work out for you. You're not going to make it. Anyway, I actually like the way Hellmuth played it. I think his bet size of 6,000 is certainly justifiable, and I think he played it pretty well. And I think Negreanu played it well too. Here's one hand. Negreanu won. He didn't win a whole lot of hands in this session because it did not work out. Hellmuth zoomed at mostly the right time, but when you're zooming, sometimes your bluffs get called and you lose the hand. A lot of people, whenever they get caught bluffing, they feel bad. They feel disgruntled. They feel like they must have played the hand poorly. But realize it's okay. Whenever Hellmuth bluffs in this scenario, he only needs to pick up the pot a third of the time. You think he's going to get Negreanu to fold a third of his range? Well, if he's folding out pairs, which Negreanu did not do, but if most of his opponents fold out pairs, then he's going to be making them fold a ton of their range. So make sure when you're playing against someone like Hellmuth who has the zoom mode every once in a while that you do not overfold. That's going to be it for today. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, do me a favor and click the like and subscribe button below. Also click the notification bell. Good luck in your games. Have a great week. And I hope you run super duper hot. Howdy, partners. Station Master Little here with a public service announcement.
It's come to my attention that a few of you have become extreme calling stations. Now, I love calling. I'm the station master after all. But you can't call with Queen High every time. Sometimes you have to fold.
Click subscribe to make sure you don't become a super station.